Welcome to our Austin Adventures Alumni Appreciation Month webinar. We're here to talk about some very exciting offers just for you. And it is my pleasure to start by turning it over to the founder and CEO of Austin Adventures, Dan Austin. Dan, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lee, and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. This is a bit of an experiment. We've never tried a three-way webinar before, so we're trusting. And if Carol and I are still speaking to each other tomorrow, that's a good sign it went well. So we're excited today to just share a bunch of stuff that we've got in store for you for Alumni Appreciation Month. And as Lee mentioned, we'll wrap it up with Q&A at the end. It's always my favorite part. You get tired of hearing me just kind of with this canned speech. When we get to the end, you get to ask your real questions. So we're going to move through it quickly and try not to take up too much of your time. Again, thanks for joining us tonight. A lot of you here. It's great to see. And let's get started. All right. So the goal today is really just to remind you all how important your continued support is for Austin Adventures. We want to remind you of all the benefits every day and what's special this month. We'll move quickly through this presentation. Again, make sure we have lots of time for Q&A. You all know us, so we're not going to get into that a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about how great alumni make for a great company. Of course, what's in it for you, what's going on in the year to come, and a little bit about it. So we're going to do a little bragging about some of the awards we received this year, mostly thanks to you. And again, then Q&A. So let's get started. First off, by now you know us. You know that we really are real people with a passion for adventure travel. We take great pride in being different. We're different in that we're just 100% committed to being that rare company that is still family owned and operated. Today we are trying really something new with Carol, Casey, and I will be tag teaming this presentation. We hope it works and we hope you enjoy it. As CEO and founder, I'm responsible for the company vision and really general direction. Carol, how about you?
I'm in the sales department and I'm responsible for helping our alumni and first-time travelers pick the perfect trip for their next adventure.
Awesome. And I am the president of Austin Adventures, newly appointed, I should say. And I would say that my passion will always be in operations. I'm getting more and more involved in all aspects of the company, but I get to hire and train and manage our guide team, and that's where my true passion lies. I even get out in the field every now and then myself. So that's what I do here.
Right. In addition to Carol, Casey, and I, we've got a great team. We're really proud of behind the scenes. We just a bunch of great folks. Many have been with us for decades. We tried to figure it out today. I think we're looking at about 130 years of collective experience. And again, you probably all have your favorite salespeople. Tim's in Southeast Asia and Africa. April's really good, coming on strong in North America. Olivia's got a passion for Europe. And one of our guides, Sam, is now selling North America out of Chicago for us. But of course, Casey, tell us a little bit about the guides.
Sure. So any of you having been on an Austin Adventures trip before, you already understand that our guides are the best in the business, right? So we really see our guides as the backbone of the brand, and we search high and low for the best profile as we're looking through all of our resumes each season. We have a lot of guides returning each year, but every one of these guides goes through a training annually, and you just can't train for passion. That's what I think our guides have that separates them from the competition. They really love what they do, and they love sharing that with you. So we kind of like to look at our guides like a fine wine. We think that they age with time, and that can't be truer when you have a guide team that has an average tenure of around 10 years. And we even have some guides who've been with us for 20 to 25 years. So I'm sure all of you as alumni have your own favorite guide that you've traveled with over the years. And with those guides come, I'm sure some very special memories from some trips. So I hope just even bringing up the guides that this brings some awesome memories that you've had on an Austin Adventures vacation in the past.
So as we mentioned, our alumni community is extremely important to us. We consider you all as part of the Austin family. I thought we would share some quick facts. Right now, we're at an all-time high of 52% of our travelers are on their second or more trip. Quite a few of them are in their 10th to 20th trip, and we even have a couple of folks up over 50 trips. Next thing is 18% of our guests come from direct referrals from you, our alumni. That's over 70% of our business coming from you. That's just so important to us, and that's just a number we want to make sure holds strong. I think that's a testimony to how hard we try to meet your needs, and something we don't take lightly. We're going to continue to push for it, push hard year after year to continue to offer new product, keep that commitment to passion and customer service top of mind at all times. Let's talk more about Alumni Appreciation Month, which again takes place during the month of December. This is the third year we've done it. Kind of perfected a little bit each year. Got a little late start this year with all the holidays falling the way they did. We just kind of got started late, but we're constantly looking for ways to show our appreciation to our alumni. We pride ourselves in listening and reacting to just what you ask for. So what's in it for you? Let's first go through the evergreen benefits. We call them evergreen because they last forever. First off, it's a 5% discount on all trips after completing 5. It's a 50% single supplement fee. This one's real popular for those singles because that's a big hit for a lot of people. You get $150 when you refer a friend. Your friend gets $100 when they travel. You get a Let's Do It Again discount of 10% if you sign up within 30 days of returning home. Just for alumni, we have a relaxed cancellation policy. And of course, during the trip, you've all experienced those special little gifts and trinkets we love to give you throughout the week while you're on tour. New alumni benefits this year, we've added a couple. We kind of scratch our heads and think about different things we can do. These ones will be what we're going to institutionalize. We're not just for the month, they're just new evergreen discounts. So it's 50% off your 10th trip, and your 20th trip is free. And over the years, we've kind of done that informally, but now we're going to institutionalize it. We're going to make sure that to show our appreciation, when you hit that 9th trip, start thinking about where you're going for your 20th, because it's on us. Few limits apply. I mean, there's a couple of trips that be cost prohibitive, but really we're trying to keep it open. So Casey, why don't you tell us about a little bit about Redox?
Sure. So I'm really excited to share this one with you because Redox is a brand that's really near and dear to my heart. As you know, Austin Adventures is based in Billings, Montana, and Redox is a local company that has luggage that's basically all made here in the U.S. It's sourced from American companies, all of their materials and everything, and it's made by people who work here in Billings, Montana. So I love working with local companies, and we have teamed up with Redox to offer a limited time perk for all of our alumni who are booking trips during the month of December. So basically, Redox, they create a really, really cool luggage line. They have these duffel bags, they have different backpacks, computer bags, amenity kits, lots of different things that you can go check out on their website. But what I really love about their luggage that is super important to me as a traveler is that everything is really rugged, it's durable, it'll hold up under any kind of test you put it through. And if for some reason it doesn't hold up, they have a lifetime warranty on their gear, which is really cool. You don't find that a lot these days. So I think that even, if you break a zipper on your bag, 50 years from now, they'll still replace that bag for free. So our special perk of the month for Alumni Appreciation Month, which goes through January 6th, is going to be any adults who book a trip during this month will get a free Little Roy, which is the bag that's pictured in this photo here. And so the Little Roy is perfect, as a gift to yourself for traveling. So you can put whatever you want in there. Usually I put computer cords, my cell phone, my eye mask, my earplugs, things that I would want on a plane when I'm traveling from one country to another, my little 3-ounce amenities, that kind of stuff. And it just travels perfectly along in a backpack or a computer bag. And I think it's a great little perk as, an incentive to book during the month of December. So that's one of our limited time offers if you book this month.
I encourage you to take a look at Redox. These guys are awesome. Actually, they're considered the top luggage in the country right now. And they've been doing safari bags for decades. So if you get a chance, go to their website and check them out. Jim and the crew they're awesome. We actually go down there and host our annual training. We do a lunch down there with them because they're so cool. So, and then for the month of December, we're trying to come up with some perks. Just another special offer that takes place just during December is 10% off what we call our President's Trip. A President's Trip is chosen in a different destination each year, and it's hosted by Carol and I. It's a chance for us to get out and experience what we do with most of our loyal alumni. In 2020, we're going to Kenya and Tanzania in May, and I hope you'll take a look at it and join us. It's an awesome trip. We've been wanting to go for a couple of years now, so it's really a chance for us to get out, pick a trip that we're really looking forward to, and then have some of you guys join us. It's awesome. Carol, why don't you tell us about some of the other perks in December?
Okay, well, another one of the really awesome discounts that we're offering during the month of December is going to be 10% off of new trips for 2020. And you can see we've got quite a few really cool and interesting trips, some domestic and some international and some exotic. So Casey is going to give us just a little bit more information about each one of the trips.
We also want to give you a chance to win a little something. Who doesn't like to win? So a little something special for your efforts, starting by joining us today. Everyone on this call is going to be entered to win this awesome iPhone 11 Pro. I think you all know our son Andy is a professional adventure photographer, and he's convinced this phone's going to put him out of business. Takes amazing shots. And you can also gain additional entries by referring friends on our alumni appreciation page on our website. Taking the survey we shared last week, we got quite a great response, but still room to take the survey. And then we're going to pick a winner after the first of the year. I hope to buy one of these phones before Kenya myself. So Casey, tell us about 2020. Casey?
Oh, I think, are you muted, Casey? Sorry. Yep, I was muted, my bad. So yeah, what's coming in the year ahead? Carol just mentioned that we have these 2020 trips and our new lineup. And for those trips, we will have 10% off. So if you book during the month of December. So let's go over what those trips are.
So here's a list of the 2020 trip lineups, and we're going to go through each one of them real quickly, one by one. So Casey, take us through them.
Cool. Sounds good. So we're going to start off with Baja. Actually, Carol just got back from this trip about, 3 weeks ago or something like that. I think it's been
almost a month ago. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, she just went on, it was actually our president's trip in 2019, and so she got to go with a handful of our alumni. I think there were 12 of you on the trip, and it's just a really, really neat, unique experience. A very remote lodge in Mexico called Las Animas Eco Lodge, and basically it's for more of our rugged travelers, I would say. It does take a while to get out there, plane, train, automobile, not train, let's say plane, boat, and automobile. And basically you're getting to this beautiful off-the-grid lodge, amazing food in the middle of nowhere, and of course the unique experience of snorkeling alongside whale sharks, which is really one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences and really a unique trip. All right, so then we have our Western Adventure, and again, this is a trip that's near and dear to us at Austin Adventures because it's based out of Billings, Montana, which is where Austin Adventures is based. So the Western Adventure is right where we locals like to play. So this is a really cool, special trip to all of us here at Austin Adventures, and we're really excited to offer it to you. It, of course, goes into Yellowstone, but also showcases some lesser visited areas outside of Yellowstone, like Red Lodge, Montana, and Cody, Wyoming. All right, and then we have Cuba. This is another really neat trip. I actually just did a separate webinar on this adventure because Cuba is a little bit complicated, or seemingly so, but it's actually really easy to get there. So if you're interested in traveling, you can always watch my other webinar on travel to Cuba just to learn a little bit more. But I actually just got back from there myself a couple weeks ago. I was celebrating the 500th anniversary of Havana on our first Cuba trip with our newest partner. We've been working in Cuba for many years, but this new partner that we're working with is just outstanding. And this trip itself is really, really neat. So if you've ever been wanting to go to Cuba, this is the trip to go on. All right, and then we have our Brazil trip. Carol was mentioning earlier how her favorite continent was South America. That's actually my favorite continent to travel to as well. I love to go anywhere I can in South America. So Brazil was a place that I got to head over to last November to create this trip. I actually went during a travel conference and was able to sneak away and visit Rio de Janeiro and Iguazu Falls. And I think this is just a perfect introduction. Brazil is a huge country, just like the United States. It's difficult to even know where to start to visit all the different cool locations there. So these two places in particular, just as a starting point, are an amazing journey in Brazil. All right, then we have our France and Spain trip, Bordeaux to San Sebastian. It seems like we've had a lot of our European alumni who have been requesting trips that combine two different countries. And so this is our response to that request, is a new trip that features both France and Spain, two destinations we already work in, but we wanted to combine them into one awesome trip. So actually at our European guide training in April in 2020, we're going to be doing a bunch of scouting as a guide team of the Spain section of this trip. So I'm really excited to go join that effort in the spring, and hopefully we'll get, lots of awesome new pictures for the website and all that good stuff of our guides checking this trip out. So that'll be cool. All right, and then our Scottish trip. The Scottish Highlands, that's actually kind of a more remote section of Scotland. We've offered this trip in the past, and we retired it for a couple of years, but we're bringing it back because we just have had a lot of requests for Scotland and a lot of people begging for us to bring it out of retirement. So here it is. It's back. It's better than ever, and I don't think you should miss out on this one. It's got a really cool mix of activities. All right, and then Ireland, again, this is another trip that we just recently brought back. My dad and I, Dan here, we traveled to Ireland, oh gosh, it's been a few years ago now, but we just fell in love with the country and the people, the activities that were available there, how green it is. It's just a beautiful place. So we wanted to create a really neat trip, and this one in particular doesn't take advantage of Dublin, which is on the eastern side of the country, but it takes a look more at the western side of the country, which is just gorgeous with the coastlines and the really beautiful green pasture land, and the people are just so friendly everywhere. So a really neat new 2020 trip. All right, and then we have Rwanda. This is actually a trip that Dan scouted out just this past May, and it is a trip where you get to go check out the endangered mountain gorilla, and the pictures that my dad got of these gorillas were absolutely incredible. He was like literally brushing shoulders with a silverback. It was crazy. So you trek into the backcountry with these professional trackers, and they will, teach you how to act around these gorillas and basically just observe them in the wild from very close distance. And it's, again, one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences that is on many a traveler's bucket list.
I gotta chime in here. Rwanda is so much more than just the mountain gorillas. Kigali is a town. That's the big town that you fly into. Excuse me, it's amazing. The Rwandan people are just phenomenal. They had the horrible apartheid, or genocide years ago, and they have recovered so strong. It's just there is no unemployment. It's just a great community, a great country. With the people are so welcoming. I really hope tourism takes off for them. It's pretty new, and it's really, like I say, it's just a great place to visit. Casey, New Zealand.
Awesome. So with New Zealand, this is a new trip that we have again in 2020, and because New Zealand is so far away, it takes a while to get there, we decided to introduce a longer trip. So it's a 14-day trip that takes advantage of touring over the entire South Island. You're hiking, you're biking, you're kayaking. My husband and I are actually heading over there this December to check this trip out and see what it's all about, which I'm really excited about. And there's even a day in Queenstown where you can do whatever you want. Queenstown is the adventure capital of the world. So don't tell my parents, but I think I might be going bungee jumping. We'll see.
I don't want to know about that.
Right. All right. So the last trip that we have on our 2020 list is the Galapagos Islands. And we've actually been working in the Galapagos Islands for a really long time, about 15 years now, with different partners throughout the islands, both land-based and cruise-based. But this trip in particular is really special to us because we have never chartered our own boat in the Galapagos Islands, and we decided to take a chance and charter a boat in the Galapagos over the holidays in 2020. And so this is a chance for you to join an Austin Adventures exclusive departure with just other Austin Adventures alumni and maybe new travelers to Austin Adventures. But it's going to be December 25th through January 1st, again in 2020, and then you'll be celebrating on the boat to bring in the year 2021. And it should just really be a neat way to experience the Galapagos, especially if you haven't been before. So I hope you'll join us.
All right, so now for the, thanks Casey for that rundown of all those new trips. We thought we'd be remiss if we didn't share with you the top 10 list for existing trips. And it's funny, year after year, they may change, one or two may fall in or out of favor, but for the most part, I could look at this list and it's been the same top 10 trips for literally for decades. Starting with Casey, and in the interest of time, I'm gonna run through this real quick. So starting with Yellowstone, we've been doing Yellowstone for 30 years. It's been our #1 selling trip for 30 years. It's awesome because it's our backyard. It's where all of us, the three of us, plus our entire staff go to play when we're not working. It's just got to be on everybody's bucket list. So I'm going to go through these quick. So Alaska, Kenai Fjords and Peninsula. I built this trip 20 years ago after living in Alaska for 20 years. And Alaska, again, such a big state. We just took a small portion of it, but we picked the best of Alaska, and that's the Kenai Peninsula. This trip is, I think, the best of Alaska, what Alaska is really all about. Calgary, Alberta, Banff to Jasper, another one of my favorites. We've been doing this trip for 30 years. There is nothing more majestic than the Canadian Rockies. They're in your face. It's just a phenomenal destination. But I think the real highlight of this trip is our Canadian guides. The Canadian guides can go toe to toe with anybody on the planet for their phenomenal commitment to guiding properly. I give them a lot of respect. Will up there, our team leaders, he's one of the best guys I've ever worked with. Of course, we have an office in Nijmegen, Holland, kind of where we hub. That's the hub for all our European operations. And our Holland trip there is been one of our favorites for, I don't know, going on over 30 years now. Austria Alps to Salzburg. This is another great trip. The activities here are phenomenal. The scenery is epic. Another one of our most popular trips. Croatia, Dalmatian coast. Croatia seems to be just a hidden gem of Europe that is absolutely exploding now. And I don't know if some people might claim it was Game of Thrones or which I don't even know what that is. But once you go, it's one of those destinations that you can't wait to go back. Costa Rica, we have 6 programs down in Costa Rica. Every single one of them is unique. But the Costa Rican people, the Ticos, are so welcoming. I think this has to be on everybody's list. We've been, I don't know, Carol, how many times have we been to Costa Rica? A dozen? And I'd go again tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to let Carol talk about Peru. I think she has a Peruvian boyfriend. Carol, what's this trip about?
Oh, hands down, Peru is my all-time favorite destination. It's amazing when you think about how they built the sanctuary with no modern machinery, and it was all built with hand labor and manpower. One of the most spectacular places, and they are doing a really good job at limiting the number of people and keeping the impact down. So if and when you ever have the chance to go, it is truly amazing.
While you're at it, why don't you tell us a little bit about Tanzania?
Tanzania has been on my bucket list for a really, really long time. Hoping everybody can join us in May of 2020. Actually, it's a combination of Kenya and Tanzania, but just to see the amazing wildlife and how they adapt to the conditions that they live in, and then the Ngorongoro crater and all of the really neat places that are on the itinerary. and not to mention a sunrise hot air balloon ride over the Serengeti. I think that's the icing on the cake.
One more, Carol. How about telling us a little bit about Thailand?
Oh gosh. Out of all of the destinations that we offer, it's one of the very few I have not been to, but it is definitely on my list. Everybody that we've had that have gone so far, amazing reviews and such a versatile place to visit and so many different things that you can do that the possibilities are endless.
And Carol, tell us a little bit about our custom and exclusive adventures. I think that's probably what you focus on the most.
Customs and exclusives are a big part of what I do, whether it's a group of 2 people or 52 people, singles, coming together, college reunions, multi-gens, probably my personal favorite. A custom trip, truly, that is, you dream up the itinerary, we put it together for you. An exclusive trip, that means that your group comes in and takes over one of our scheduled departures. Seen a huge uptick in both already for 2020. We've got several of those on the books. If you see or you're interested in something and you don't see it, call us and ask us, because chances are that we probably do have the resources to put it together. So if it's your dream trip, we can make it come true.
Great, thank you. We know you understand the value of traveling with Austin Adventures. We'd be remiss if we just didn't take a minute today to remind you. You know, we've got your back. We've got some of the best guarantees in the business, but I think more importantly, we like to believe that we're human, you're human, things happen, and we're always just a phone call away. Every single guest gets Carol and my cell phone number. Call us if things aren't going right on the trip, or if you want help before the trip or after the trip. I think that's what really, you know, because we are a small boutique tour operator, we can actually give you that sort of attention. And it's something that we're real proud of. And I don't think we'll ever get so big that we can't do that. It's too important to us. We are family owned and operated. Homegrown guides, we use guides from wherever we're traveling. If you're going to go to Costa Rica, you want a Tico, you want a Costa Rican guide. Same thing here in Montana. If you want to come to Montana and you go into Yellowstone, you want somebody that's where they play, that's where they spend their off time. Just the right group sizes. As you guys know, we keep our group sizes small. I just don't understand how you can put 40 people on a trip with, you know, 2 guides and get the experience. The guides are too important. We have to pay attention to every single detail from that, you know, first pickup to the final goodbyes. We pride ourselves in our value without compromise. Y'all know the wow moments. We don't need to talk about that. It's funny though, I do get a kick out of how more and more companies, even some of the big giant companies, are using or coining that phrase wow moments. We've had that for 30 years. I should have trademarked it. 35 years of experience, just, you know, it shows in every trip we run. Of course, you've all experienced the commitment to safety and best, most authentic lodging we can come up with. We are going to boast a little bit here, thanks to you. We have got some great new awards this year. USA Today rated us #1 American travel company against 2 others that are absolutely huge. We're #3 in the world. Shape gave us the Healthy Travel Awards for Best Curated Experience. Had one we didn't even know we were in the running for. France, the Tourism Board of France, just gave us the Best Niche Tour Operator in France. Kind of fun to get those. We're going to be in New York at the New York Times Travel Show. We hope you come out and see us January 24th through 26th. All 3 of us will actually be there, along with a couple other staff members. And if you want tickets, give us a call. We'll see that you get free tickets. Don't forget, you receive your Red Ox bag for booking in December. 10% discount on President's trips booked in December, and 10% discount on new trips. Year-round perks, 5% discount on all trips, 50% off single supplement, 10% let's do it again. Relaxed cancellation policy, refer a friend discounts, 50% off your 10th trip, and that 20th trip's on us. And let's recap real quick. Casey, you want to tell us how we can win this iPhone 11 Pro?
Sure. So basically there's the 3 ways that we went over earlier, but one is to take our alumni satisfaction survey. We sent out an email to all of our alumni about a week ago now that had a link to that alumni satisfaction survey. So we'd love for you to take that, and you'll automatically be entered if you do. And then the second way is to refer your friends and family. You can either do that if you give us a call and let us know who they are, or you can fill out their information on our Alumni Appreciation Month landing page on our website. That's also accessible through that email that we sent out if you need the link. And then, of course, if you watch this webinar, you are automatically entered to win the iPhone, which is awesome. So thanks for joining us.
I think if you put up with this for the last 30 minutes, you should get 10 entries for that, but I'm not changing the rules now. So that about wraps it up. Just trust, I mean, we're sincere when we say you guys mean the world to us. Even taking the time tonight means a lot. We really appreciate it. The feedback we get from our alumni keeps us going. To every single one of our staff gets every single eval. And it's funny when during the peak season, when you get 10, 15 evaluations a day, that's the first thing we all do. I mean, we just love it. It's what keeps us going and keeps us charged up. So with all that said, appreciate your patience. Lee, I'm going to turn it back over to you for Q&A.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. So we've got some great questions here. I want to encourage those of you listening to send your questions in now. You can use the question box. If you're on a regular computer, it's going to be in the right-hand side of your screen in the dashboard. If you're on a mobile device, it will be down below. You'll look for the little question mark. But you'll find that, type your question in, and I will read it on the air. And we do have some questions, as I said. And so the first question, Carol, is for you. And that is,
okay.
what is your favorite trip?
Oh gosh, it's usually the one I just got back from. So currently it is the Baja whale shark trip. I had the chance to share a wonderful time with 9 alumni and 3 first-time travelers. And that's probably the best part of my job, getting out and actually being able to put names and faces with the voices on the phone. So my next favorite trip is going to be Kenya and Tanzania.
Well, they both sound fabulous. Casey, question for you. We have someone listening who had you as a guide years ago, and they are wondering if you still get out there and do any guiding.
That's a great question. I do, and I'd be curious to know who this is. But yeah, you'll have to email me after the webinar so we can reconnect. But yeah, I definitely get out, and I lead our guide training each May when it rolls around each year, and so I think it's super important that as the manager of all of our guides and the leader of our guide training, that person who's in charge is also out there in the field doing the same thing as our guide team. So I definitely ensure that I'm out in the field every year just to keep my skills sharp and I need to keep learning alongside our guides as well. So yeah, I'm definitely out there. Hope to see you again.
All right.
Let's embarrass Casey a little bit. Casey, lean your head a little bit. What's on the shelf behind you? What's on your file cabinet? See that little trophy up there? Guides, Casey got that when she was 6 years old, her first trip guiding in Yellowstone. And the guides got her that trophy at the end of the year at the guide banquet. And it's the Rookie of the Year award for when she was 6 years old. Guiding a little while.
I love that. Well, Dan, I've got a question for you that just came in, and it is about when you might be adding trips in the eastern U.S. The specific request was for Maine.
2021. We're working real diligently to, as we've actually been in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland years ago. And as you can imagine, it's a long way from Montana. So what we want to make sure is we've got a series of trips there. So we've been working the last couple of years to define what trips those are going to be and put together a schedule that makes sense for us to have the teams come out and to gear up from here from Montana, but move out to the east. We actually have now a small little office in North Carolina that's going to help us kind of staff it up from there. And yeah, pretty excited about it, actually. In fact, we just did the alumni survey, and Maine was the #1 request for new trips.
Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. Okay, another guide question. This one says, can we request our favorite guide?
I guess I'll take that one. Yes, you are always welcome to request your favorite guide. No promises that you'll get them. It just kind of depends on A, if that guide is returning for the season, B, what else they're scheduled for that season. But I always do my best to cater to our alumni requests. So chances are it could happen, and all you can do is ask, right? So
Excellent. All righty. Um, okay, so back-to-back trips. Can you still put trips back to back?
You bet. Carol, why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you do more of that than anybody.
Okay. A lot of times what we'll do is somebody says, hey, I have 2 weeks and I'm looking to do this. And had a couple earlier this year, their plans fell through. And so I booked them on the Utah Mighty Five. And then they turned around and they did the Arizona Grand Canyon trip that started immediately the next day. So it is possible, both domestically and in Europe. And the combination of Galapagos and Peru is also becoming more popular as well. So definitely we can talk about it.
Okay. What if this question following up on asking about the East Coast? If we don't see something we want, can you offer trips in areas that you currently aren't in? So can you put in a special request for a specific destination that maybe you haven't done yet?
Great question. And over the last 35 years or so, there's a lot of trips and a lot of destinations that we either used to offer. Trips come in and out of favor with the traveling public. So we might just put them in the archives for a bit, bring them back. I think Casey was talking about New Zealand earlier. We actually ran New Zealand 30 years ago. And we ran it for about 5 years. Then for whatever reason, it just kind of fell out of favor. And so we're actually bringing it back. So either there's a good chance that we've either run it in the past and can put something together, or better yet, or equally, if we don't run the trip, we probably know who does and who knows who does it well. And so regardless of whether we do it or not, we want to make sure that you get what you're looking for. So just give us a call and we'll put you in touch with the right people if we can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Question here about the Austin collection. What is the Austin collection?
Carol, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The Austin collection is a handful of high-end properties that we've chosen to represent, for example, Paws Up here in Montana. It's not a dude ranch stay, but it is a ranch stay, and they have glamping as well. We also have Chilco, which is bear viewing, and during the salmon season, that's quite a rush. And probably my personal favorite is the Sheldon Chalet, which is a chalet that's located in Denali National Park on a glacier. So if anybody wants to do something a little off the beaten path and something a little bit different than what we normally do, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
All right, great. Okay, I have a couple of questions here about the incentives and some of the discounts. So I think I'll combine these two questions. There was a question about whether we can combine incentives, and then also about whether the referrals can be combined with the December discounts.
Carol, you're the expert on that. I think we have to take it on a case-by-case basis, but Carol, tell us a little bit about how you look at it.
Sure. Well, alumni referrals and referees, which is the 154 alumni and 100 for the alumni referee, those are always combinable with just about everything. During the month of December, there's a couple of incentives that aren't combinable. But like Dan said, we look at it on a case-by-case basis. And if you're not sure, just ask, and then we can tell you, yes, this discount works with this one. Probably, I think the one that is the best and most motivating discount out of all of them that's out there is the Let's Do It Again discount, which if you choose your trip 30 days, up until 30 days after you get back from your current trip, you get 10% off of your next trip. And in some cases, that's a pretty big discount. So just give me a call and we can talk about it.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, a question about contacting you. Can I reach you after hours?
You bet. First off, we're all email addicts. So because we work all over the world, we kind of learn to use email uh, throughout the 24 hours. But so you can reach us via email, whether the office is open or not. As I mentioned earlier, pretty much everybody has Carol's cell phone number, Casey's cell phone number, and definitely has my cell phone number. And if you call the office, the 800 number, after hours, the emergency line actually rings through to me, because I just feel like if it's an emergency, I want to help you as quick as I can. So absolutely, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The joke around the Austin family is Austin household at Christmas is I don't think I've ever sat down for Christmas. Christmas is our busiest week of the year, and I don't think I've ever finished a Christmas meal without the phone ringing at least 3 or 4 times. So we're kind of used to it. We actually embrace it.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Speaking of email and embracing technology and all of that, we have heard that there is an alumni Facebook page. Is this true?
Yes, it was launched actually months ago and then didn't get the attention it deserves. So one of the questions we asked in our survey was if the alumni would find value in it. It was amazing, about 70% did. So we will be bringing that back. It's still up. We'll be sending out a notice throughout the month, and then looking to post and make it as a real valued tool for alumni to communicate with alumni, share pictures. If you're going somewhere and you're looking for somebody to travel with, we're hoping it grows legs and gets some traction.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to make one last call for questions. I've got one more question to ask. If there are any last questions, now would be the time to get those submitted through the question box. And if not, I'll make this the last question. So, Dan, what about going paperless? Are you still mailing things out, or are you mostly going paperless?
Well, right now we're currently mailing everything out. And again, one of the questions we asked in the survey is what are our guests looking for? And so we've launched a project over the last couple of weeks that by this travel season, in the next few months, we'll be going paperless, except for, have no fear, we're always going to produce our catalog. That's just, to us, that's really important. And everybody loves it every year. It's a fun place to showcase our trips, showcase our staff, showcase our guests. So we'll always be doing the catalog, but past that, we'll be cutting back. Of course, again, we're small enough. If somebody is looking for paper, we'll always print it. But we're really trying to embrace the technology and also just be more eco-friendly.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, it looks like that was the last question, Dan and Carol and Casey. So I will turn it back to you now for closing comments.
Well, thanks, Lee, and I really appreciate everyone coming out tonight. It's a little, kind of what time do you host one of these? What time will you get people to show up? So really pleased with the attendance, the great alumni that showed up tonight. Appreciate Carol and Casey helping me with this. We didn't bomb too bad. This is the first time the three of us worked together on a webinar, and I'm sure we'll kind of perfect it over the next few versions. But again, thank you, and Casey, Carol, turn it over to you guys.
All right, I guess I'll go. Yeah, I don't have too much to say other than thanks for joining us tonight. And if you have any questions or, again, want to request that favorite guide or want to share your stories about your favorite guide or anything, I am all ears. That is what I'm passionate about. I love our operations here at Austin Adventures, and any special requests or, trips you want to develop or anything, I'm your gal. So just call up Carol and she'll be working with me to make sure we get you, the trip of a lifetime that you're looking for. So thanks for joining us tonight.
Carol?
Oh gosh, I just want to say thank you to all of the alumni for your continued loyalty and support, and for the amazing volume of emails that I get personally from alumni who love our trips. They're always telling me what an amazing job we do, and that just means the world to me and makes me want to come back season after season. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
With that, Lee, we'll call it a night.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us, and this will conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.